Now, Neil, people struggle to make a career in acting in South Africa, and yet, despite having one, you then chose to go over to the States. What was the catalyst? What was the moment that made you say, like, I got to do this?
I think at heart, I am an adventurer. And let's say if I lived a century or 2 centuries ago, I would have been one of those fellows who signed up to go with Scott or Amundsen to whatever. I was like, seek out the adventure. I guess it comes down to the gift of life. If you've got the resources of energy and you've got the will to really take this life and live it full throttled, create a memory bank, sign up for adventures, do things that scare you, make mistakes, buy yourself the real estate to make as many mistakes as possible, because it's only through mistakes that you ever learn anything. Was that even an answer? No, that was
absolutely. No, I mean, the pursuit of adventure, it doesn't have to necessarily be about the career choices. It was just an opportunity presented itself. Yes, career is there, but why not seek out that adventure? Absolutely. It was a beautiful answer. Thank you.
Great pleasure, man.
As recent as this year, people could have seen you in Planet of the Kingdom of the Apes, where, well done, Neil, playing Koro. I can think as an actor, veteran or not, you probably get thrown a little bit out of your comfort zone with a role like that, because it's not just the acting, it's motion capture. On top of that, you're also portraying an ape. So the whole experience, everything behind the scenes of Planet of the Kingdom of the Apes, what was that like? The motion capture, I almost want to say monkey training. How did that all go?
Yeah, we did do ape school.
Ape school.
Yeah, we had to go to ape school. I spent some time in ape school. We work with a French movement coordinator, Laan, and we also had the great privilege of working with Andy Serkis, who's from the franchise, and he's a master at motion capture. And essentially, what it is they sort of, if I had to ask you right now, be a chimp, right, or move like a chimp, more or less, you're gonna get kind of right.
Well, give me a bottle of wine and I'll nail it.
That was a good one. So what Laan does is then they deconstruct it, they break it down, and you actually start learning why the chimp moves like that, because of the shortened rib cage and the spine and et cetera, et cetera. So now it becomes you are consciously trying to do it, and then it becomes a matter of repetition, and then also the technical demands, because it is quite challenging. I mean, you've got a suit on and you've got this head harness on with a camera that's right here. There's a lot of dots on your face and markers, and there's a lot of crew. These are massive productions, So from that point of view, I thought it was massively interesting. Enjoyed filming in New Zealand and in Australia.
You portrayed General Abbott, leader of the Last Men, in the Netflix hit, and I'm very prepared for this one. Sweet Tooth. It's a role for which you received an Emmy nomination, and deservedly so. Neil, you were absolutely brilliant in the role. But you do seem like such a nice guy. So how do you prepare to just play someone who's not even going to bat an eye at hurting others?
He was a lot of fun to play, because there was this almost like at least his own understanding of the things that he was doing. He was being cheerfully benevolent, and he absolutely believed that. So that's a very specific kind of pathology. He was even having fun whilst doing that. And once again, this was great, because Jim Mickle, and I'm going to name drop now.
Go for it.
Mr. Robert Downey Jr. The instruction was basically, we want you to do you, kind of vibe. So I think there was a stringent audition process, but I think they liked what I brought about, and nobody got in my way, really. And that was, I think, helpful. So I think I had a broader sort of palette to work with. But I made sure that the pathology mapped out for me, right? Whether the audience gets that or like that's none of my business. That's the audience are either gonna believe it to be authentic, their believability or not, you know. But my job is to go like, okay, that is why that happened, and that's why I'm playing it this way. So I map out the entire thing, right? And then if I can go to sleep at night thinking like, yeah, but it's also like a puzzle, right? Because you don't shoot in
necessarily in sequence.
In sequence, chronological order. You know, you shoot at this venue, then that, and then you at episode so and so, and then you come back and whatnot. So you got to kind of keep your wits about you, but you slowly start making this carpet, the tapisserie, and sometimes you give a little bit too much there, and then you got to do this thing here where you counterbalance that in another scene. And then obviously you've got your fellow actors bringing their little bits to it. And then you're kind of like, I never thought about it that way.
You were talking about your fellow actors. Christian Convery, he was Gus, a.k.a. Sweet Tooth, great actor. But your character, General Abbott, he wasn't exactly the nicest to Gus. So I want to find out, despite everyone being actors, despite everyone being professionals, was there ever a moment maybe on set where when the director yelled cut, you felt the need to maybe just go to Christian and just make sure he's okay, almost apologize because of who your character is, that you maybe weren't a little too harsh with him in a scene?
I want to applaud Chris. Yeah, that's a tall order to do. And his mom, Lisa Convery, they're a team of people. Like I was looking at him and I was blown away because just his professionalism, what he brought to set was just mind-boggling. And then I had the great privilege of actually having them here at my house. They came and they shot a thing consequently in South Africa, and I invited him and his mom Lisa, and they drove through, and we had a little braai here with some of my Onrus people. I didn't tell them. So everyone was like, holy smokes, he's here. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how his career develops. I've got a lot of understanding and empathy for his trajectory. Maybe because I started so young. I started portraying a 12-year-old boy. So there's a sort of a document or cultural artifact that exists of me growing up as a young boy, then as a teen, then as an early 20s, Laan you just mentioned, and then all the way through to where I'm at now, which is the doorstep of 50. And hopefully I can go on doing that for as long as I have the reserves of energy, you know.
Neil, before I go through my drastic wardrobe change, on the topic of Sweet Tooth, favorite sweet, favorite candy?
Rolo!
Do you share your last one?
The slab, the big slab, Rolo. I don't know if you get it in Namibia, but you certainly get it here. I'm not talking about the little, those ones.
Pipikis.
I'm talking about the big slab. Hang on, I'll show you which one. Oh, maybe I threw it away. This one. This one, a commercial for Rolo. Maybe they paid me for that one. Look, there's nothing left.
As there shouldn't be. Yeah, rightly so. When did you decide you want to start putting your own music out there in the world?
It came as a complete shock and a surprise. Early on, when I was doing a series by the name of Orion, I did a song because I wanted to sort of see, like, how do you record a song? And I never touched it again. And then here in 2020, that's only 4 years ago, they asked me to do Desert Rose. A character in there was a guy called Freddie Fingers, and he played the ukulele, and he said, it was like, he didn't need to be good necessarily, but he needed to hold his own, and he's a small town balladeer, and he's sort of the glue of his family and community. And I was looking at it and go like, okay, if I'm going to give any credence to doing this part, I would like to be able to create the music for it myself. I thought as my job as an actor, I've got to get myself to play the ukulele and sing in front of people, which was kind of daunting, and at least have a set, maybe like 40 minutes that I could do, that I could present to people. It didn't have to be good, but I needed to do that. So that kickstarted it. And then I worked with Theo Kraus from
The Nudies.
and we started recording like one, and then we had two, and then we had three. And by the time we had seven, it was like, and I wrote everything. Thinking back at it, I think Theo was going like, what the fuck? And then we had a full album, and I decided to bring it out and print a vinyl. And then lo and behold, that album got nominated for a South African Music Award. And my second one that I made last year, just got nominated now for South African Music Award. So that's two in a row.
When it comes to your music, it almost feels like someone said, okay, Neil, what do you want to do? Do you want to make a bit of blues, maybe some folk, country, rock, avant-garde? Do you want to put some brass in there? And you just said, yes. So connecting the dots from song to song to song becomes really difficult. But I feel maybe I have found a bit of a connection with your music. And Neil, you really have a beautiful way of storytelling when it comes to the lyrics. Would you say the storytelling is in music exclusively, or the storytelling in music maybe comes from having such a long career in film, theater, television?
I believe in the power of story. Story even transcends reason. You and I could have a rational conversation, right? And we could get like, okay, we agree 2 + 2 = 4, right? That's the end of that. But if we had to address something, then you could also use the anecdote. So the story is quite often more powerful to get somebody to go like, the penny dropped, the fable, the mythology and whatnot. So and that's what I've been doing all my life is really to participate in hopefully something substantive where, the thrust is for shared understanding. Like a song like Die Goue Graal, I can't even tell you how I wrote that. I don't know. It's like 7 minutes 33 of this epic performance art piece. I'm super proud of all of the songs. I really think, like, I understand they like little children, your kids,
Who would you say is your favorite kid, though?
Wow. Can I punt from the new album?
Go for it, please.
I think they're all lovely, lovely tunes. My least favorite on it is the most commercial track, Gooi Kole. I did that almost as a gag, It's like, okay, I'm just going to like do what these Afrikaans groot pere is doing, but I'm going to punkify it a little bit. I'm going to use their subject matter, do it a little bit better and a little bit more punky, and just throw it out into the world, I can tell you what my least favorite one is, but not my favorite. So my least favorite is probably Gooi Kole. We spoke a long time. I think we solved everything in the world.
We got all the world's problems done except for one. If people want to find your music, a quick Google, Neil Sandilands music will take you in the right direction. All I want to know is, can we ever expect a show in Namibia?
From your lips to God's ears, I would love that. I would love that. Voorspoed and vreugde, and to the Namibians, like across the board, we were so well received. People really took care of us. It felt good. It's great. And thank you for supporting just maybe as a parting note, and you alluded to this earlier on as well, is that from Namibians saying to me that through the Groot Niks, they have uncovered parts or understandings about their own country that they didn't have prior to that. And that also means the world. So, yeah. Thank you.